Hey guys, Rob from FunctionBuilt-Aquatics, and I wanted to show you a little project that I've been working on today in the fish room. So without further ado, let's go and see exactly what I'm talking about. Directly in the center of the room, I put these two 75-gallon deep blue ocean black trim tanks. These are part of a group of tanks I bought from a discus hatchery that was going out of business about 5 months ago. I sat on these tanks. They've been in my garage all that time until I figured out how I was going to lay this room out. As you could tell in one of my first videos, I had a desk on that side that is now gone. So the 75-gallon tanks take up exactly 8 foot, 96.5 inches of space lengthwise. So the dimensions of this stand is 96.5 by 19 inches wide. The cinder blocks I used are your standard 16-inch long cinder blocks with the 2.5 to 2 3/4 inch end caps right here. These give me the extra width I need to fit the 75s on without any overlap to give me complete structure. These tanks came drilled, of course, because they were used as sumps. They used 2.5 inch bulkheads. So what I'm going to do with these bulkheads is I'm actually going to build reducers, and I'm going to continue with my automatic water change system and standpipe. I'm going to do exactly the same here on the 75s on the ends. So I can actually put the hose, the plastic garden hose attachment right here. Put the standpipe to the height I want to drop the water, and I can go ahead and do my automatic water changes with no problem. Both 75-gallon tanks are drilled on the side the same way. Everything, as far as I'm concerned, came out pretty well. I have full access to the bottom of the tank without standing on a step stool, so I didn't want to go too high with these tanks. As far as electricity is concerned, I'm going to mount electrical outlet on the ceiling. Or my other option is to continue with the electrical outlet that I have behind this desk, and then just run it across the carpet with one of those little, they have those cable hides that they use in offices, sort of like a little ramp that sort of gives you a smooth finish to walk over and run a vacuum over with no problems. The stands came out pretty well. Everything's very sturdy. What I'm thinking about doing a little different with these stands is I'm not going to paint them like I do in all the other stands. To get cinder blocks to look that clean, it takes a lot of paint to do so, and that's just a lot more work and cost. So what I'm probably going to do is get some black material, and I'm going to make a skirt with Velcro tape, and I'm going to put the skirt all the way around, cleaning up all the cinder blocks and making everything look clean and black, but still allowing me access underneath for storage. I'm not going to put any aquariums under there. And as far as lighting is concerned, I'm probably going to go with the same lighting fixtures I'm using above this rack system. The flower pots with the IKEA fluorescent light end caps screwed in, and then just basically dangle one for each 24 inches of space, so that'll be 4 lights. And I'll use my 5,500 Kelvin LED bulbs, which burn very little electricity, get me enough light. None of the fish I keep like a lot of bright light. These tanks are not going to be planted tanks. These tanks are going to be more geared towards holding some of the fish in the mixed species tank, of which the giant gourami eats plants, ate most of the plants that were in that tank in the beginning. And then one of the other 75-gallon tanks I'll probably save for the Unimac complex of betas that I'm working with. They can really use tanks this size. Maybe I'll use both tanks for that, and then do something else with the giant gourami, since the 75-gallon tanks would only be a temporary hold for a fish that size to begin with. Maybe I'll just continue with my plan of putting a big tote right in this corner right here, and then using the 75-gallon tanks for the Unimax. Keep the maybe 2 different subspecies, maybe in a group like I do the Patoti. I'm sorry, like I keep the Antuta that are in the 55-gallon. They really do appreciate the 4-foot length of this tank and utilize all that space. Like I mentioned in other videos, the new wild betters are doing fantastic. The male is still holding strong. He's got a mouth full of eggs. Gonna leave him alone. And the female just ate 2 crickets. The Unimaculata Milak are doing fantastic also. They have been flaring at one another quite a bit. I know they're a pair because my wife actually witnessed them wrapping, but they've been sort of bickering a little bit, so we'll keep an eye on them. But they also ate about 3 crickets apiece. And the female Patoti is doing fantastic. She ate 2 crickets and she's chilling out left hand corner, still waiting for a mate to come and share her space. The Betta Antuta are doing great. The male is inside the holding tank with his fry still, keeping him out of here because I know as soon as I put him in they're going to spawn. This is the female that he actually spawned with. She's the largest female in the tank. She's pretty boss. These guys are like a wolf pack. I threw crickets in there and they were just going bananas. They love insects. So Antuta are another wild betta fish in the Unimaculata complex that Nathan and I maintain. I guess this will be a fish room update. Inside these 1-gallon jars, Nathan and I picked up a couple female bettas, just regular splendens, ornamental splendens as I like to call them. Of course, this is the Chinese mountain stream setup. We have another female splendens in here. Probably going to wind up eventually putting these guys together with this guy right here, who is the feral splendens from the Dominican Republic, since his female committed some sort of suicide and got herself stuck inside a little hole in one of the clay pots. My Mahachiensis, and let me see if I can get these guys to flare up and color up just by seeing one another. Usually doesn't take much. This is my Mahachiensis male, and my other Mahachiensis male is in here. There he goes right down the bottom. Then let's take a step back. And these guys are so cool, and they fire up rather quickly. And here we have one of the female Mahachis, and she's hiding. She'll come out. Down the bottom are some of our wild betta fry. And this tank, of course, is the Sumatran peat swamp setup. Oh, here you go. Nice shot of my betta ruber pair. These guys are constantly flirting. They've given me, the last batch was 25, I think, fry, of which those guys are in this tank right here, doing really well. These guys are from this particular pair. And here is my really aggressive, sorry for the glare, female Albi marginata, and her male is in another tank, chilling out, basically keeping himself from getting clobbered. This 10-gallon tank and this 10-gallon tank have my betta chanoids. You guys have seen these fish quite a bit. These are the betta hendra. And this is my male bossman Antuta. And he's in there with all his fry. The fry seem to grow rather well when you keep them with the dad. They grow faster, They feed better, and he actually assists in the feeding. I watched him chew up some tubifex worms and eat some, of course, and spit some out of his gills. And then the fry went and they picked off the particles. It was a pretty cool deal. And this tank is my wild embellus or imbolus. And I have 1 male and 2 females in here. You'll see more of these guys in the future. I plan on putting them in a better, more easily seen display. This is my rack system with the Betta Forci. These guys are just in holding. They should actually be moved. You have a brilliant rasbora and a pork chop rasbora. They were the ones left that the African leaf fish did not devour. The bottom tank are my wild caught bleeding heart tetras. All my quarry cats. They're feeding on a piece of zucchini down there. And I also have my 3 green phantom plecos, and those guys are probably high. The South American paludarium, after a pretty big haircut. And the neon tetras are down below. Water level's pretty low. So this is basically an update of what we're doing in the room. And there's my handsome son. And so, you know, I have quite a bit of space. 77 inches from the aquariums to the wall, not including the pillar right there, of course. And 5.5 foot from end to end. And then 5.5 foot from this end to the door. And then another 77 inches from the trim of the 75 gallon to the wall. And you can look straight down the gut, and this is what you'll see. 2 75 gallon tanks. I'll probably paint the center panes, of course, so you can't see right through. I have a really cool terracotta color that I used on the Chinese mountain stream. I'm sorry, on the Sumatran peat swamp setup. I'll probably use that same color on these guys. And since I'm going to decorate these tanks more along the center, so you can actually see them from both the left and right side. So there will be no wall. The driftwood will be in the center, right along that board, probably going straight up. And then, like I said, I'll paint these panes right here so you can't see straight through. Thanks, guys. I know this is a long one. Thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for watching. FunctionBuilt-Aquatics. See you.
Philosopher?